faculty experience to academic growth and long-term planning. It is now my privilege to introduce our speakers today. First, Dr. Michael Oltrogge, the President and CEO of Nebraska Indian Community College. And Taria Wolf, the Business Division Head and member of the Umaha Tribe. Juanima Morris, she's the Native American Studies faculty and the veteran educator. And Dr. Christine Sudbet, Dean of Academic Affairs and Chief Academic Officer. Each will share their own perspective on today's announcement and what it means for NICC moving forward. With that, it is my honor to begin our program by welcoming our President and CEO, Dr. Michael Oltrogge.
Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us. Today is a historic moment for the Nebraska Indian Community College and for the tribal nations we serve. I'm honored to announce that NICC has received a transformational $7 million philanthropic gift from the MacKenzie Scott Foundation. This is the largest private donation that NICC has ever been awarded. Tribal colleges and universities are powerful institutions, but we are also chronically underfunded. We do so much for our communities, preserving and revitalizing cultures and languages, expanding educational opportunities, and strengthening sovereignty, all with limited resources. This gift recognizes that reality, and more importantly, it recognizes the potential of our students. This is not a transactional gift. It is a transformational investment in our mission for the next 7 generations. This funding will help NICC create long-term stability and will allow us to invest wisely in our academic programs, student services, faculty development, and the continued growth of the college. It strengthens our ability to plan and to build with purpose. Most importantly, it allows us to continue the work that we do for our students and for the generations yet to come. This is a proud day for our college and our communities. We are grateful, we are humbled, and we are ready to continue our work with renewed strength. I want to thank our faculty, our staff, and our board of directors for their dedication and their leadership. And we extend our sincere gratitude to the MacKenzie Scott Foundation for believing in NICC, in our learners, in the future of tribal education. And I want to say, Wibdahon, Padame Edo, and thank you. Thank you for being here, and my team and I would be happy to answer questions at this time.
No.
No? We're going to have more speakers. So wonderful. Thank you very, very much for your time again.
All right, thank you, Dr. Oltrogge. Next, we will hear from Taria Wolf. She is a business division head here at NICC, who will speak on the impact of today's announcement through the lens of our faculty and through the responsibility that we carry to educate the next 7 generations. Let's welcome Taria Wolf.
Thank you, Gerald. And thank you all for being here today. Ibebi umate optamike umaha ijaje wawikate gikveka. Wake ijaje wawikate Taria Wolf. I am a member of the Umaha Tribe of Nebraska and the Business Division Head here at Nebraska Indian Community College. I am honored to stand before you today to celebrate a truly historic moment for Nebraska Indian Community College and the communities we serve. This gift is not just a number, it's a powerful investment in our students, our communities, and our shared future. For decades, NICC has stood on the foundation of a sacred mission to educate and empower the next 7 generations. Our mission is not only about education, but it is also about preserving our languages, our cultures, and our sovereignty, while creating pathways to opportunity. Today, this generous gift strengthens that mission and ensures that NICC can continue to serve as a beacon of hope and learning for years to come. This support comes at a time of uncertainty for many tribal colleges and communities, yet it reminds us that others believe in what we are doing. It gives us hope and resources to dream bigger. With this gift, we can continue building programs that honor our traditions while preparing our students for success in a modern world. Our business division is a shining example of this progress. In recent years, we proudly launched our bachelor's degree in business administration and tribal nation building, a program designed to equip our students with the skills to lead, innovate, and strengthen tribal governance and economies which is among the first of its kind in tribal higher education. This spring, we will celebrate a milestone, our first graduates of these programs. These graduates represent the future leaders of our communities, and they are proof of what is possible when we invest in education. But this is only the beginning. I hope to continue creating an ideal community of cultural learning, a place where students feel proud to attend a tribal community college like NICC, a place where they can strengthen their skills, embrace their heritage, and prepare to accomplish great things. Our students have incredible potential, and with the right support, they will not only achieve their dreams, but they will transform their communities. On behalf of Nebraska Indian Community College, I want to express our deepest gratitude to the MacKenzie Scott Foundation for believing in our mission and investing in the future of our students. This gift is more than financial support. It is a statement of trust and partnership. Together, we will ensure that this gift becomes a legacy of empowerment, innovation, and cultural pride for generations to come. We will.
All right, thank you, Taria. Our next speaker is Wanima Morris. She's a Native American Studies faculty member and a longtime educator here at NICC. She will share her insights into the journey of institutional growth and what it means and represents for our college.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to participate in a truly monumental, once-in-a-lifetime event for NICC. It almost leaves me speechless, and that's saying something because I come from a family that can talk, and they do. So at any opportunity, it seems. But I just, first of all, would like to say in our traditional way, Amate Uda, MacKenzie Scott, Weeblaha, Weeblaha, which means in Umaha, I wish you all a good day, and thank you. Thank you with the biggest thank you that I could muster up for your kind generosity and the fact that you give from the heart. And that's very important when anybody gives anything. So I want to acknowledge that on behalf of this college, and as probably, an institutionalized individual, I have been aware of this college for, since it started in the 70s. My actual involvement, however, did not begin until 1981. And back in those days, that on my reservation, I'd heard a lot of talk about Northeastern College being present to provide some college courses for Omahas that wish to be teachers. And they would have to either go there, or Northeastern would send teachers out to Macy at the public school. And so as a result, I think there were like five or six people who actually graduated from there and got teaching certificates to teach our students, and certificates, of course, came from the state of Nebraska, the education office. So that was quite a significant step initially. During that time, however, I had heard talk that we were going to do our own college, following on the Navajo, the Navajo Higher Ed College Act that they had passed in Congress. And I heard talk among various tribal leaders that, well, if the Navajos can do it, we should be able to do the same. I said, wow, so they're going to make use of that particular legislation, and it's an important step. So with that in mind, and in 1981, I hadn't lived on my reservation until then. I didn't see much, and I mean it's just a one street with some stores on one side of the street, an open field across, and then on the south side a rundown, dilapidated post office, and of course the brand new tribal administration building that sat on the hill. And I wondered, well, where are they gonna put this college, even if they do get it? Well, they did. And in 1981, these courses were held in that dilapidated post office. And I mean dilapidated. When you walked in, there was a sign that said, "Careful where you step, otherwise you will fall through." And I know because I was asked to teach a couple of courses there. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I tested it, and sure enough, you would go through on this floor. So I very carefully walked to where I should step and conducted my classes in this manner. So I've been associated with NICC in some form or fashion since 1981. Had the privilege of serving on the board of directors twice, and finally resigned my position, the latest position in 2023. But I've seen it grow immensely, and all by hook or by crook. Well, mainly by hook, and trying to seek funding, trying to establish a better place for students to have a real environment to where they didn't have to worry about a cold draft coming in or the lights flickering on or being careful where to walk and where to step as they took their courses. So I've seen a lot of growth here, and I'm so proud to be associated with it. And it didn't happen without growing pains, I have to tell you. So for a while, this is how they operated. Then there was like one president after another. And I didn't know who's the board? What's happening here? Well, I found out that there were like nine board members, 3 from each of the nations that they represented, which was Santee, Omaha, and Ho-Chunk. So they had each 3, and I got to know a lot of really wonderful people who were dedicated to education and were so anxious and concerned that we could bring education, higher education, to our people practically in our front yards. So I got to know them, I got to work with them, and pretty soon got to work with them. And then at some point, I left just before Winnebago decided they flexed their own muscles, and I'm proud of that, because they said, you know what, we're going to do this on our own. We're going to do our own. And again, utilizing the act, utilizing their own dreams and wishes, they separated from the core group of the 3 nations. So that left Omaha and Asante, and we are still together. So it has gone through many growing pains. It's survived. I mean, it even got to the point where at one point we had a college president, and this is really egregious. She was a tribal member. She wanted to close our college. And I'm like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. I wasn't working with the college at the time, but I hoped and prayed and talked to some board members as a community member and said, please don't let this happen. This can't happen. And of course, it managed to survive, but I feel like it hung on by the, just by the skin of our teeth. But survive we did. And since then, I was aware that our president, Dr. Michael Oldtroke, he was one of my instructors. Oh, and then we got another building. We moved out of the post office and we went to this old building that sat on top of the hill that was for the Omaha tribe. It was their heavy equipment building, and it was painted in such a way with orange paint, corrugated outside structure, and the community called it the Kentucky Fried Chicken Building. And so we had offices there, and we had classes there. Again, run down, drafty, cold, full of mice that would skitter across the hallways as you'd walk into from the main room going to your office or to your classroom. So it was in a pitiful state, but it didn't matter because we were there, our students were there for the pursuit of higher education. So while I was there, I took a couple of courses myself, and Mike was one of my tutors. It was in accounting. Remember that, Mike? And he took us through this, and I was so glad that I passed the course. And a couple of years later, I learned that he was our college president. I was like, whoa! I was so fortunate to have our college president be one of my tutors. And of course, ever since then, he has been in charge and has taken hold of the direction and has done his share of blood, sweat, and tears. all kinds of difficulties working with his board, which of course has settled down into a real support of things that he wants to do because he has to help them vision and envision for the future. And now, here we are today. We have three beautiful campuses here, Santee, and on my own reservation, Omaha. So I've seen this place grow from, I think about where I taught initially, and then took a class again, thought, oh, this is pretty good. This is not, whoops, there goes a mouse. But overall, looking at where we've been and how we got here, you know, it took blood, sweat, lots of grit, and following a dream. That we nations, that whatever we set our minds to, whatever we determine will be our future, can happen. And this is why we are where we are today. Do I get to mention hopefully you're going to edit this, but do I mention the gift?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now, I am just floored. I have a lump in my throat. Never, ever in the history of our college, and I'm sure other colleges are probably saying the same thing, have we ever received the kind of money, this $7 million from the MacKenzie Scott Foundation for the purposes of Indian higher education. Never. We scrape by on federal funding, we scrape by on donations from faculty and staff, we scrape by the best we possibly could. But again, with lots of hope, with a lot of grit and determination, we are still able to bring a higher quality education for our people. We say high quality, but I think it's the highest, because we are reaching out and working with traditional communities that have struggled over centuries due to colonialism, colonial attitudes, that we cannot succeed. And I think this college is proof that we can. And with this new gift, gosh, hopes and dreams, believe me, I'm very conservative in this respect. We are not going to spend that $7 million immediately, Mike. No new cars for everybody, okay? No new cars for the campuses. We need to map out something for the future so that we can have something to hand to our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, in addition to projecting for the next seventh generation. We're in the seventh generation now that we had hoped and prayed and worked so hard for in terms of our nations and our nation building. But now this college, we have the dream, we will have the capacity to build for the next seventh generation. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the time to talk to you and share my heart and my feelings with you with regards to this extraordinary gift that NICC has received. So thank you.
Thank you, Juanima, for that heartfelt, emotional acceptance of this gift. Our final speaker this morning is Dr. Christine Sudbet, NICC's Dean of Academic Affairs and Chief Academic Officer. She will speak about what lies ahead and how today's announcement aligns with our strategic plan and the master academic plan. Please welcome Dr. Sudbet.
Thank you for all who are in attendance today and those who are watching live. We are truly grateful for this gift, not only just as the institution, but how it may, the potential that it has to affect our students and our communities. We have been experiencing a pretty steep enrollment growth here as of late. And it's something that, you know, we can contribute to our partnerships that we have been developing with our area high schools. So for those early college opportunities, we've gained our distance education approval. And so that went, even before COVID, our faculty were putting in the work. We were also, you know, developing the professional development skills to be able to teach virtually based on Microsoft Teams, online using Canvas. And our students have been developing those skills alongside of us as well. Trying to develop the amount of internet and technology access, so going one-to-one with technology for our students. These are all things that make higher education not only accessible, but we're also trying to make that affordable as well. And over the last few years, we've also been able to do a $1 tuition credit reduction scholarship. And that, again, making higher ed affordable and accessible. Some of our enrollment growth has also been attributed to some new programs that we have been developing. As you heard earlier from Taria, mentioning the bachelor's. It was our first bachelor's at that time in business administration and tribal nation building. Recently this fall, we also launched a second bachelor's degree, this time a BS in Indigenous Environmental Health. We also have an Associate of Applied Science in Industrial Trades that we just launched this fall as well. And all of that programmatic development is really tying back to the data. So we are going to be launching another community needs assessment here soon to try and get the input from our students and our community members as to which programs are seeking, those high priorities in those areas, what has high demand for job growth and potential there. And we use that to then align what programs we develop here, whether it be at the certificate, associates, or at now bachelor's degree levels. With the enrollment growth, as Wainima had also mentioned, we are experiencing some growing pains. So it's also important for us to be able to build upon that human capacity to make sure that we are serving the needs of all of our students. But ultimately, it comes down to the alignment with our strategic plan. And so we're in a 5-year strategic plan, and we have already identified goals. And hopefully, if we're able to, be able to build upon that human capacity and the skills and training that we have just internally within ourselves is all we already have, to be able to achieve those milestones as we have set out to put forward. We also have that academic master plan, which I tweak every year just to know where we're at in terms of the enrollment that already exists and where we might be able to head. So looking at what certificates and associate's degrees we might be developing in the next year, next 2 years, next 3 years. But yes, I love my data, so it always goes back to that. And with this gift, we're talking about the next 7 generations and the sustainability of our college. And for that, I am greatly appreciative. I have witnessed, and time again, and one of my favorite days every year is watching our graduates walk across that stage and earning whatever it is that they put their mind out for, whether it was just that one class that they just needed to get done so that they could earn their certificate, and they achieved it. That's a milestone that you can see not only the student themselves, but it's their family, and the success that it brings their whole family as well. But yes, and we're so appreciative of this great gift that only looking ahead to the future, we can only just see great potential. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sudbeck, and thank you all the speakers for your guys' perspective. At this time, we would like to open it up for questions. If you guys do have a question, please raise your hand and recognize who you are, and then we can go from there. And please let our speakers know what outlet that you're speaking from. I have a few set up first that I want to ask President and Wainima and Taria.
Wainima's in class.
Oh, is she? Okay. Well, maybe I'll grab her here in a bit. So, President, what will the $7 million be used for?
Basically what we plan on doing is we don't plan on spending the $7 million. We want to make sure that we're able to utilize the gift for the future generations. So we anticipate doing something similar to being able to use roughly half of the interest off of the corpus every year, and then being able to reinvest the other half into the corpus to keep the college growing and just keep the endowment growing. So.
Perfect. Why did MacKenzie Scott choose Nebraska Indian Community College?
Yep, I'm not incredibly sure why she specifically chose NICC. MacKenzie Scott, she does her own vetting process. We were contacted, but I know that she also believes in tribal higher education. She's given significant gifts to the American Indian College Fund. She's given significant gifts to the American Indian Higher Education Consortium. And she's also given significant gifts to other, well, area and out of area tribal colleges, universities.
All right, one more question here, Chris. Is this the largest gift that NICC has ever received?
Yes, this is most definitely the largest gift that NICC has ever received. The most significant gift that we have received that's been unrestricted before this was $80,000 from the Omaha tribe. And that was actually before my time, I think, so, 2000 or prior, so.
Perfect, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, and Taria, I have a question for you. And the question is, what message do you have for your students when receiving this gift?
So the message I have to my students is you're the future leaders, innovators, culture keepers of our communities. This opportunity is here for your taking. Pick it up and go with it. Get your education to, help our communities for generations to come. I want the students, I want you to believe in yourself as much as we believe in you. The world needs your voice. They need your vision and your courage. I feel together we can turn our challenges into opportunities and our dreams into realities. So your journey starts now. Let's make history.
Okay, let's open up for the press.
I have one question. So you had talked about endowment and interest, but just kind of like simplify it more for the audience and even such as myself. When it comes to, you say, the $7 million, can you kind of maybe speak more on like what are the things you guys hadn't had in the past, and then now that you have this, maybe what are some of the things you're going to be able to get, maybe new programs or expansions of some sort? You kind of mentioned some of those things.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily have any great examples off the top of my head, but just to give it a little bit of perspective, our completely unrestricted operating budget is zero. Our quasi-unrestricted operating budget per year is about $2.5 million, and that's based from the federal government's Tribally Controlled Community College Act. So, I mean, the $7 million gift, even half of the interest based upon what we've been able to scrimp before, should be able to, add, almost $1 million, $900,000 or so, to the unrestricted operations, where we can, create new programs, we can do renovations without having to wait for the feds to decide to figure out what they want to fund and what they don't want to fund. So we're able to, just do many, many different things that are at our own complete discretion. Does that answer the question? Kind of.
But I just was, kind of looking for like, okay, classroom sizes maybe been smaller, so we might be able to expand there. And
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure that we're also able to keep up the dollar credit tuition. I want to make sure that we keep doing that forever. Most of the time, basically NICC serves some of the lowest income students in the state. So we want to make sure that we're not adding an increased burden to those students. And by being able to continue our laptop programs for degree-seeking students, continuing the free internet, continuing the dollar credit, continuing the textbooks with the courses at no charge. All of those programs help the students succeed. It eliminates the debacle that many students had at NICC and at many of the community colleges, where single moms would have to struggle with, do I buy the textbook for this class or do I buy Pampers and formula? That way we eliminate that decision completely. Buy your Pampers, buy your formula. We'll help you out to make sure that you're successful to the best of our ability.
Thank you.
Cool. Yes, sir.
Chase Floyd with KCAN News. Congratulations, by the way. This is a big milestone for you guys. And how will this donation impact the college's long-term goals?
It will just give us a lot of breathing room. Just being able to have a guaranteed unrestricted source of funding. And I say guaranteed, as long as the stock market's just totally bomb out. We'll have our own source of funding that we can certainly rely on every year. And that is huge, especially given the current political climate where everything is up in the air all the time. You know, like at the beginning of the year when all of the grant programs were shut down, you know, it just helps alleviate a lot of that stress, a lot of that concern.
Taylor Deckert with KTIV. When were you guys notified about this donation coming in?
I would say about 3 weeks ago. Anybody remember? Because we couldn't tell anybody, that was part of the agreement. We're not allowed to tell anybody much of anything until we actually receive the funds. So now we've received the funds, so we're able to talk about it freely. I did whisper to my board about it, so that would have been right before whatever that board meeting was. But anyway, I just made sure that the thing was legit and that it wasn't a scam. Because the first email I received, I deleted it because I thought it was just garbage. You know, you get this email saying, hey, we want to give you money. You're like, okay, you just want us to pay you for something.
And what does this mean for students now with this donation?
Oh, it should mean that the students have some sense of, well, hopefully calm, a sense of security. So then that way they know that, you know, NICC will be able to keep operating at almost no charge to them. Like I said, the textbooks, the laptops, all those fun things, making sure that our faculty, irregardless of kind of where the federal government goes with programming, that we're still able to offer the same high quality programs that we have done.
How many students do you guys have here at this college, or between the campuses?
Between the campuses, we have 777 total heads. Right?
This fall?
This
Yep.
fall. Yeah, and so we have, what does that break down to, like 425 something for FTE, or full-time enrollment? So we're open enrollment institutions. Yeah, so anybody who has an opportunity or capability, a yearning to learn, please come see us. So somebody said, when's enrollment open? Enrollment open is open now for the spring.
And you were saying earlier how you guys have been completely underfunded for quite some time.
Yep.
You know, when you guys were first notified of this, you know, what was the first thing that was going through, you know, your mind and for the whole entire campus?
Yeah, well, I know the first thing I did, when I actually got in touch with them, I was just so relieved, so grateful. We'd actually just got through a board training where the board had a hypothetical $1 million to spend and where to spend some of those items. You know, so we might be able to do some of those types of things, like creating much better student lounges and things on campus. My board certainly wants more people to come on campus, but it's just definitely a sense of, a sense of relief to some extent. And then there's another piece of it too, just making sure that, that any of our other funders and things understand that the $7 million definitely doesn't meet all the need. Because we certainly still rely on the federal government for support. We rely on the state government for support. We rely on lots of other private sources of funding as well. So yeah, but definitely some relief, some joy, elation. Yeah, just that we're able to finally get to a spot where, we're definitely good and people are recognizing some of those things.
Yeah, one more question. After receiving this donation, what will be the first step for you guys?
Well, Christmas break is coming up. Right now, we're working with an investment advisor to try to consolidate all of the college's investments so we get them into some place that provides the returns that we would need and expect out of these funds. And I know that's a little more, probably technical than needed. I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm looking at it, because I want to make sure that we protect the funding, but now we have enough funding where we should be able to start taking some of the corpus, or taking some of the money not off the corpus, but off of the interest and growing the corpus as we go. So it'll be good. And given we won't receive any of those funds until next year, that's still fantastic. I mean, just being able to have that opportunity.
Last thing, so when you said, that was, I guess, the question, so receiving the funds, so it's technically transferred, but you can't spend anything until?
Well, no, we could spend, technically, if we wanted to, we could go out and just spend $7 million tomorrow. But I am certainly advocating to our board and our staff and faculty as well, that we walk with prudency. Make sure that we are using those funds to sustain, the next 100 years versus buying the president a new truck. And if anybody gets an idea, I could use a new truck. If there's any other questions for me or anybody else, I don't need to be a talking head, so.
Wyneema's back. I did have a question for you. You want to come back up here? I was told that you were in class, so.
I was, but yeah, they're doing good yet.
So here's a question. When will the community begin to see the effect and the change of these benefits, the communities that we help?
Well, of course, hopefully soon. Mike, as our president, and his staff will probably present some ideas and suggestions to the board, the governing body. And of course, they'll probably have some ideas of their own. So I would imagine that that's going to probably take a while. And until everybody agrees, and I would imagine that shortly thereafter, you might be able to see some visible changes maybe. Definitely, I think it's going to strengthen our academics. And for sure, the laptop program, all of these things that students have been needing to make their courses successful and for them to succeed as well. So I think we might begin to see some small things at first, and then some bigger, I don't know, accomplishments to be realized in the community. And I think, and that's a really good question, because Mike also has the best job ever to communicate with our tribal leaders. So communicating with them as well as his board, and of course balancing faculty and staff, that's going to be a really delicate balancing act, because some people are going to see 7 million and say, oh, let's spend, you know, without thinking about, I think, the long term, and to strengthen us and to sustain that for now and in the future. So I think we'll probably see some things maybe by summer, perhaps, and again, it might be in some small ways. I'm not sure, and of course, hopefully the board and Mike, they'll make these announcements to each of the respective nations and have maybe something like this. I'm not sure, but, or you know, what will be planned, but that'll be at the board and Mike's discretion. So depending on what it is that they decide, and how to make it visible or how we can benefit as quickly as possible, that's going to be, you know, that remains to be seen.
Perfect. Okay.
I know you were talking about the state when the college was close to closing, describing kind of that bottoming out. What year was that?
I think that was way back, it's 30-some years ago, 1990, 94?
June of 2004.
Oh,
That was right before I became president.
oh, okay. So, yeah, so it was quite a ways back. Before Mike, and I think Mike was the one, at least for me, and how I saw something happening as just a community member at the time, thinking, oh gosh, I think this was our student. We got tutored by him. Now he's got a PhD. I think he understands what education is about, and particularly education in our tribal communities. I think we're in good hands, and we have been. So, yeah, so congratulations to Mike as well. So.
Okay, well, if that's all the questions, we thank you guys for all the thoughtful questions. We thank you again for being here with us today, and also just continuing to cover and support tribal college higher education. If you guys want to stay around and you guys want to do informal conversations with the leadership and staff that are here, you're more than welcome to. Thanks, guys.
There's food and stuff too. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, yeah. That's really, yeah.